Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. Currently just a little bit after 8. I got up about 6:30 when it was quite dim. But, well, I had to get up, so I did. I had to wear my headlamp for a little while to see enough to be able to do things. So again, it's about an hour and 40 minutes for me to pack up today, but I did breakfast on the BushBuddy. Well, I had granola, which is cold, but I made myself some tea and played around with the BushBuddy again, and that was an amusing pastime. Nothing else of real significance happened this morning, and once again we're double checking to make sure everything's down. Temperature this morning is about 56, and it looks kind of misty foggy to the extent that I can see. So I have to say, this is the first experience I've had since I restarted hiking this year of having a picnic table at the campsite, and it really is a handy thing. Now I can't imagine how I camp without it, but I know I'll figure it out again when I need to. We should look at the map. So we are currently along this trail where the camping sites are here in the park. And we're going to go out to the Allander Mountain Trail and go up towards the summit of Alander Mountain. This trail doesn't actually go to the summit, and we'll probably leave that till our return trip this afternoon. Then we're going to go back onto the South Taconic Trail and to Bashbish Mountain and down to Bashbish Falls. See what's going on there. It probably would be better if more spectacular if we weren't having kind of a dry season, but that's okay. And then we'll come back the same way, and we will take the summit of Allander Mountain and come back to here. So it's about 5.5 miles round trip, which is a good day's hiking. This is the cabin. That's its name. It's up here near the summit of Allander Mountain. It's featured in a lot of YouTube videos. It's looking kind of run down, although in real life I find that it's not quite as, I don't know, creepy as it appears in some of the videos. I stopped her to take advantage of the facilities to put in my contact lenses. My glasses were getting all steamed up. Not surprising considering the weather conditions, which are still misty foggy. We'll take a look inside since we're here. It is kind of dim, so I don't know how much of this is going to come out. But the facilities include a bench, which were pretty handy for doing the contact lens chores. There's a wood stove here in the dimness, and a double lower bunk, a double upper bunk, and then a single lower and upper. Watch your head. And I guess this place hasn't been abandoned. There's some fresh work. There's some plywood up there, and someone sistered in some new roof rafters. And there's a note here next to the window about some ongoing roofing project that they're looking for volunteers. Anyway, on we go into the mist. It is now 9:30 and we have reached the junction with the South Taconic Trail. The trails up here are a little tricky and the signage is somewhat on the informal side. So this is how I knew I reached the South Taconic Trail. I guess it's clear enough, although the sign is broken, and that particle board is a poor choice of materials for this application. I should say that according to my information, it's about 3.5 miles to Bashbish Falls. That's probably not too exact, but so a little under 2 hours, probably. 9:30, 10:30, 11:30? 11:30, somewhere in there. So we're kind of above tree line on the ridge, and well, just confirms what we said down below. Hope the wind isn't altering the sound. Anyway, it's kind of cool. So it'd be nice if this clears off and I can get views on the way back, but for the moment I'm kind of enjoying this. Well, it's about 11:15, and I am not where I want to be. There was supposed to be a blue blazed side trail off the South Taconic that would take me to Bashbish Falls, and I didn't see it. If in fact it's even really there. So I'm not sure what to do now. Seem to be on some kind of state property. There's a pickup truck parked down the road. Maybe I'll see if those guys can shed any light on where I am. Okay, so there was no one in that pickup truck. So actually, let's see, way down here, I could kneel on the ground, but I came down the South Taconic Trail and came out of the woods on this road that accesses these cabins that are in this area. And there was a pickup truck, a state, I think, truck, but no one was there. So I took a short walk down this way, and I am now in this parking lot where there is this map. And there is a trail, goes along the brook, 3/4 of a mile, to several viewing areas for Bashbish Falls. There is no indication whatsoever of a trail that's on my map that's in this area. And indeed, if there were a trail, it would have to cross the brook, and I'm not sure how easy that would be. But anyway, we've come this far, so I'm gonna take the trail. It can't be too difficult. Down and see the falls. So it's about 12 minutes of noon, and that's Bashbish Falls, and it is quite impressive. But as I kind of expected, there was really no sign of another trail, so I guess I have no choice but to backtrack. we'll look for that Blue Blaze side trail on the way back up, but I don't think we'll see it. There has been some blue sky, so the weather trend is in the right direction. So it's about 7 after 12 now when we are back at the South Taconic trailhead. Trail to Bashbish Mountain. Well, I'm sure we came over Bashbish Mountain, but it wasn't clear where the summit of it actually was. And actually, it's really an arm of Alander Mountain. There is no sag between Allander and Bashbish. It's just a ridge walk, a gradual descent all the way from Allander to Bish Bash, and then a steep descent down to here. So we have that to look forward to going in the other direction now. So the sky is indeed mostly blue, a few scattered clouds. So we should get some views once we get all the way back up on top, which will take a while. Well, I did miss the Blue Blaze Trail. Here it is. Must have zoomed by it coming down. Now we'll have to hike this again to see where it goes. So, excuse my jiggling. In addition to the 3 trail markers there, and a little ways down that one I can see another. So, I mean, it does go on. So it's about 1:15 now, so I'm kind of hoping we're nearing the top of the steep ascent and it'll level out a little. That would be nice. I'm sweating. Did you notice? So it is just about exactly 2 o'clock, and we are back at the intersection with the Allander Loop Trail, which is what we need to take to get to the summit of Mount Allander, since the summit of Mount Allander is not on the South Taconic Trail. Makes perfect sense. So again, the trails are a little confusing here. There's several of them, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to find our way. Well, both the signs and the terrain are a bit of a muddle up here. So this is the South Taconic Trail we were following, and when we came to this intersection, that's where that dilapidated sign was. And you could take the Allander Loop Trail, which after a short distance takes you within spitting distance of the cabin. And, well, when you get to the cabin, there's a sign that says if you want to go to the summit of Alander Mountain, you should go back up to the South Taconic Trail. But look, right over here, we have this little star, Allander Mountain, and that's clearly over here on the Allander Loop Trail. So we went up there. And there is a kind of a peak from which you can see nothing. So maybe that is the true peak. So we went back down and came back to the South Taconic Trail and went a short distance, uncertain how far I've come, and found this open ledge with views to the south and east. And this is the location of the tower foundations, which I've seen in other videos, so somehow I thought this looked west, not east, but... And so over there are the mountains the AT goes over. I'm guessing the prominent one to the right is Bear, which would make that, I guess, Race. And that Everett, which isn't all too prominent from this side. We arrived at the end of the campsite access trail off the main Allander Mountain Trail at about 3. And we came in and looked at the last few campsites, the one furthest from the Allander Mountain Trail. Not only because it's furthest from the main trail, but because it's closest to where we have to hike to get the water. And, well, we're back at the same one we used yesterday. Good old site number 6. So it's about 3:15 now. So we're a little ahead of yesterday's schedule, which is good. Plus, we don't have to waste a lot of time trying to scope out the rest of the campsite and figure out what's up and if there's any water and where to find it and all of those unpleasantries. So we should have a more leisurely time in camp than we did yesterday, which I'm looking forward to. But I guess we'll go get water first thing. So it's right around 5 o'clock, and we've been going through our camp chores. There seems to be a lot of them, always is. So we got water. There are still our Cedar Summit dry bag gravity filter reservoir is still holding up, no leaks. So far so good on that. We took a little bath. I hope we look cleaner. And we started setting up camp. Well, we're pretty far along. It should look familiar. It's exactly the same setup as last night. Same trees, same orientation. So that's looking okay. And we had some cocoa. And, well, so far we've been having an all BushBuddy hike. We haven't used any alcohol at all. So in playing around yesterday, I tried to see how hard it was to keep the BushBuddy going for a period of time, and the answer turned out to be, in my view, it's harder to keep it going than it is just to let it go out and then restart it again. So I've started it twice this afternoon, once for warm-up water for the sponge bath and once for the cocoa. Okay, the camera battery just died and I had to replace it, and I forget exactly where I was in the story of the BushBuddy and my decision to basically, if I'm going to use it multiple times in camp, rather than try to keep it going, just get it going again, because it's pretty easy to do. So, and dinner tonight is shrimp and sausage jambalaya, which you may have seen before in my AT hike from Pinkham to Grafton Notches. Again, this is a Babblefish 5 recipe, and it's a little different than most of it is because there's some pre-soaking involved. So that's been pre-soaking for 10 minutes. And it says to add water and then to add water and then soak, yeah. I think I'm going to add some more water. That's already a little thick. And then we'll go ahead and bring it to boil. Okay, we have some of the birch bark we collected along the trail today. And we'll start adding some little sticks. All right, I think that's ready to start heating. And we'll start working up to intermediate sticks, which are up to, maybe pencil size. And now we'll chuck in a few large size, bigger than pencil. So the temperature at the moment is about 60 degrees. That's the air temperature, not the stove temperature. It's supposed to be a little chillier than last night. And there's definite possibility of showers in the forecast for tomorrow. A few bubbles. I don't know if we're going to get a full rolling boil because there's not all that much liquid in there. We'll just give that a few seconds of simmering, I'd call it. Alright, what we're going to do is take it off, put it down, stir it some, Now I have noticed in the past that the stove coming off the BushBuddy is hotter than the stove coming off alcohol stove, and it's hot enough to melt the reflectix. So I'm kind of dawdling here for a minute or two, letting it cool off just a touch, and hopefully enough before I go ahead and put that in the koozie and the koozie lid. Okay, it is 20 after 5 and we'll let that sit. I'll have to check the instructions to see how long. Once again, it's drier than I was expecting. I think it could have even more water, but it is very tasty. So I'm going to go ahead and eat it. And there's a lot of it. That's good. I was hungry. So that's it. It's only about 6, a couple of minutes after. So it's not as dim as it was last night when I said goodnight. Yeah, which is a good thing. Don't want to push these things to the limit. So we've removed the bug netting. Well, not removed. We've stuffed it up at the foot end of the hammock in a little peak bag that Papa Smurf includes with the roaming gnome. And because I haven't seen a mosquito all day. I did see, was bothered by 1 or 2 yesterday, which is why I left it in place then. What else is going on? Not much. I'm digesting the jambalaya.
and that's kept me kind of warm. So I haven't dug out the top quilt yet. Bottom quilt is deployed, and we're gonna read like always. Guess I'll study the map some, just to see what my options are tomorrow, depending on the weather. You gotta expect a little bit of rain if you're a backpacker. So we'll probably just tough it on through. Probably. We'll see you in the morning. Good night.